Your magic.
Hit that like, everybody. We're about to get started. Share the show. We're up on Substack. We're up on Instagram. I think we're everywhere, as we should be. Getting started. Give me just 1 second. Almost there. Ready to go. Let's just bring it in. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. It's HAL, SPARKS, Mega Worldwide. Like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show, etc., etc., etc. Hi, everybody. Hi, chat room. Welcome, the greatest chat room in the history of chat rooms. What's going on? Good to see you. There's been a lot of stuff to cover, and not the least of which is a lot of the... do I call it fireworks or flameworks, I guess, around Kash Patel blathering and arguing as the director of the FBI with Congress, like how dare the people with that are elected representatives who are charged with oversight of the FBI ask him any goddamn questions. Now, I'd like to remind you that these are the same people that called Christopher Wray a member of the deep state because he's appointed, not elected. So is Kash Patel. Kash Patel has never run for office, never represented a group of people other than the interests of whoever put him in that position, and this is certainly no fucking different. And so watching him kind of flail about as a newly minted member of the deep state has been particularly fun. And he's not enjoying his day. I'm just going to throw that out there and let you just do with that what you will. Now, a lot of this has to do with, obviously, Charlie Kirk shooting last week and the fact that he didn't do shit. He had a really nice fancy dinner with the president. He used the FBI's plane to go see some UFC fights. And then he had them fly him to the scene so he could walk around like he was an extra on FBI, the series, and smell rocks. Like, I think I taste the killer's DNA on it. It tastes trans. Like it's just fucking stupid. It's embarrassing. It's lame. It's cowardly. It's pathetic. It's weak. It's self-involved. And it's fucking dangerous because the FBI has a serious job and he's not a serious person. Okay, on top of that, He's not getting help from the right. Oh, we'll talk about that in a second. This is the thumbnail on Pat Gray's show, the aptly named Pat Gray, who looks like melted butter and is ashy, to say the least. The entire episode of Pat Gray Unleashed today is Where Are the Epstein Files? With guest Adam Johnson, lectern guy. That's the guy who stole the lectern from the White House. Remember the guy from the Capitol who walked out on Jan 6? He's their guest because they needed an expert on being an anti-American piece of shit or something. Or somebody who ironically is shocked that while he got punted and set free, he's going to criticize the people that Trump put in place because he's just now realizing they lied to him because he's adult or something. All right, so let me show you a little something about the top of this thing. Okay.
This resulted in several...
Wait, back up. So here is Pat Gray doing the intro where they're going to talk about how, I don't know, trans something or other is the cause of something transy or something like that. And the idea that Groypers are being blamed, even though there's plenty of overlap. But because he's gay, he can't possibly be a Republican or a conservative. Scott Bessent, Peter Thiel, et al. Never mind. But in this particular, watch what happens. I want to show you at the beginning of the show when they're about to go into this whole like Charlie Kirk sympathy chunk, so that they can stiff arm any criticism of themselves. They can use basically Charlie Kirk's death as a human shield. Watch what happens because their person in their control room is a fuck up.
No, I mean, it could be. I don't know. But it isn't a Republican. Now, yes, his family certainly is.
Yeah.
That's pretty clear. Most everybody in the family. There might be some, I think were there two people that were saying negative things about him at whatever dinner we've heard about multiple times.
Yes.
But here was Utah County District Attorney Jeff Gray yesterday.
Who has Jeffrey Epstein's
Not this clip. That doesn't seem like
Can you
Jeffrey
kill this
Gray.
clip, please?
Whoops. That's my favorite part of it. You're not supposed to play that part. Don't play that. You play shit. You're supposed to play the part where a trans person shot somebody, right? Okay.
Here was Utah County District Attorney Jeff Gray yesterday.
Not quite.
Who has Jeffrey Epstein's
Not this clip.
That doesn't seem like
Can you
Jeffrey
kill this
Gray.
clip, please?
Don't know where that came from exactly.
There we go.
You don't? It's your fucking boss. It's in your computer. You are planning on playing it at some point. All right. So they go through and he plays a lot of the Utah governor stuff about him. And I don't know if they break into the conversation. I don't quite care. The whole thing is about like, who he is and what he said. And they're all back and forth. And then at some point, let's see, this is the, this is an ad for preborn. And then, here you go. So
Off to the side, looks over at him and goes, "Oh crap, he's not done yet." And there's and then picks up another phone on the other side of that one. It's unbelievable.
That's funny. Good catch.
Honestly, I don't know what the fuck they're playing over this video or they're watching. Okay, but here's
that rant of false information does not bring this country together. If you want to work on bringing this country, it's my time, not yours.
My God.
If you want to talk about
dividing this country,
it is my time.
I follow you on your social media posts that
It is
tear
my
this country
time
apart.
to
There
address
should be a
your
unified.
falsehoods.
Oh,
you
You are an
can try
embarrassment
all
to the
you
division
want
in this country.
to not take
It is my
responsibility
time.
for what
You had
have
your
said.
time.
Sir,
I would like to point out what we're actually seeing here, first principles. We're seeing an unelected bureaucrat who was appointed, a political appointee of the administrative state, telling an elected representative that they don't deserve to be listened to and that they're a liar and whatever. Effectively, by reflection, calling all of those voters that, while himself not being answerable to any vote whatsoever. Also, fuck him, and this is just ridiculous.
you're
Your
making
time
a
is
mockery of
over.
this committee. Sir, you don't tell me my time is over.
You
the
know how
people
far
of New
we've
Jersey
come
tell me
since
what.
That's right, because he's an elected representative.
My time is. You can't lecture me.
You can tell me
Sir,
my time's over?
You may be the charge of the
I'm not
FBI,
going anywhere.
but I am not afraid of you. sir.
Mr. Chairman,
Not afraid of you.
Mr. Chairman, point of order.
Ooh.
Senator Booker, I announced at the beginning of this meeting that
I was going to let him do a rebuttal on everything that is said, so I don't listen here. I've only got about a year and a half left of gavel-holding strength in my pedubular tendon on my outer carbuncular, and it's eventually going to snap like a cat tail in a dry creek bed. So I promised Kash Patel in our little chat group that we run on Signal that after you guys gave him the what for, I'd let him just ramble on like he was like he's rambling. And scene. Thank you very much. Thank you. That will be my Chuck Grassley for the week. Now I will go back to my regular job of constantly auditioning but not getting the job of being a sidekick in an old spaghetti western. Hee-hoo! Looks like there's Indians up on that hill. With all deference to our FBI director, I'm referring to Injuns, not Indians. I don't need to hear anything from the other side of the aisle about Columbus's sense of direction. Now, I'm from Iowa, where everything is flat. So anyways, there's a lot of yelling and stomping about. But the fun part was the fact that in all this, everybody's, bringing up where are the Epstein files. And they show clips of Kash Patel, responding, but not the part where they're criticizing. So they make I'm just going to give you the fucking cliff notes of this nonsense. While and by the way, the stench in this fucking room must be off the charts. Like the amount of just the wind breaks and stays broken. Can you imagine these old farts sitting in a room sealed in a soundproof chamber? Oof. You know where the blaze got its name is because out of a fear that someone will light a match in this fucking room. So, this is, and there's tons of this pushback. I'll give you a little slice of that. Let's jump to this business.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Patel, before you joined the FBI, you
Or
had
sorry,
very strong opinions
Pramila
about
Jayapal,
what
and
the
then-
FBI was hiding regarding Jeffrey Epstein. In a September 2023 interview with Glenn Beck, you said the Black Book is under the, quote, direct control of the director of the FBI.
Now, that was the clip that I was just showing you that Pat Gray accidentally showed on his channel and didn't want to, and went like, cut, don't show that, right? Because there's several areas where, Kash Patel's bullshitted everybody. He was on fucking Bongholio's podcast, and anybody who would have him basically smoking cigars and hanging out and bullshitting people and lying about what he said he knew, which obviously is not true and turned out to be false. Even when he thought it was true. But this is a clip actually from Glenn Beck and actually from The Blaze. So of all things for the fucking dudes that Pat Gray showed accidentally put on the air, it is so choice. It's bad to be part of, on the wrong side of selling a controversy, right? You're trying to patch it up for somebody else. That's always bad. But when you are the evidence that it's bullshit, it stings a little.
In December 2023, you said, let us know who the pedophiles are. Even for a short time after becoming FBI director, in February of 2025, you tweeted, quote, there will be no cover-ups, no missing documents, no stone left unturned. In June, you told Joe Rogan, quote, we've reviewed all the information, we're going to give you every single thing we have and can. But then suddenly in July, everything changed. You and Attorney General Pam Bondi released one video and said that there was nothing more to see. Your July memo says you
unsigned memo, It's not his memo. It's all three of them, and none of them wanted to sign it because they're all liars and wussies.
Covered more than 300 gigabytes of data and physical evidence, but that you had decided no further disclosure would be appropriate or warranted. That is a quote. I think what happened, Mr. Patel, is that suddenly you discovered that Donald Trump's name was all over these files, and you started a giant cover-up. So you are under oath, Mr. Patel. You just testified to Mr. Swalwell that you did not speak to the president about the Epstein files. To your knowledge, did Attorney General Pam Bondi speak to the president about what was in the Epstein files?
I can't speak for Attorney General Pam Bondi.
So to your knowledge, you...
Hey, asshole. She didn't ask you to speak for Pam Bondi. She asked, to your knowledge, what did they talk about? Meaning, what'd you hear? Were you in the room when it fucking happened? Not other conversations you may have had elsewhere, you dodgy prick.
You don't have any information. The question was, do you have any knowledge? Do you have any knowledge?
I can't speak.
You are
for the
refusing to
Attorney
answer the
General,
question, so
Pam
let me
Bondi.
tell you that the Wall Street Journal reported that in May, Bondi told Trump that he was in the Epstein files, and at the same meeting said that the DOJ did not plan to release the files. Yesterday, you testified to Senator Kennedy that there was, quote, no credible information that Epstein trafficked girls to anyone else, and that you have, quote, continuously and publicly asked the public to come forward with more information, and we'll look into it. Today,
Ask the fucking public. Is there anything this motherfucker, as the head of the FBI, is expecting to get except when other people do his goddamn job for him? I mean, the Kirk's killer turned himself in. Maybe that's how this dumb motherfucker thinks everything works.
In response to Mr. Massey's question, you appear to say that the survivors were not credible. These are survivors.
That's not at all what I said.
Okay, great. I'm going to ask you this in a second, but let me tell you about the
don't lie about
survivors,
me.
and let's bring them up here into the room. These are women who came to the Hill and testified that they were groomed and raped at the age of 14 and 16 years old, and they called to meet with the president and to meet with the FBI and to have people investigate their claims. Some of them have never testified before. If you are so interested in getting the public to submit any information, why have you not met with them? You said you haven't met with them. Have you met with them? I'll give you one more chance.
My job as the FBI director is to
Is the
invite all
answer yes or
investigative
no
leads.
to whether or not you met with these women who were sexually abused and raped?
Any insinuation by you or any
What is
people on
the
your
an-
side that I am not manhunting child predators and sex traffickers just...
Oh, yeah, no. Believe me, the FBI's on that job all the time. You're not, motherfucker. You're going to UFC fights on the taxpayer's dime. You're dicking around with Donald Trump and making fucking phone calls and playing FBI after the fact at crime scenes. You're not doing shit.
Look at the
Mr.
stats,
Patel,
and you talk
Mr.
about
Chairman,
cover-ups, man.
Mr. Chairman,
you
this
talk
is
about
my time,
cover-ups.
and I will take as much time as I
Where were
want.
you during the
Instruct
Obama and
witness,
Biden
Mr.
administrations
Chairman.
when these so-called
Instruct the
cover-ups were
witness.
going on?
Mr.
Why didn't
Chairman.
anyone in those administrations talk to any of these
Mr.
purported
Chairman.
witnesses?
Let's
I have
get some regular
welcomed
order, Mr.
every
Chairman.
single person to provide credible information.
Time belongs to the gentlelady from Washington.
And I'm
but
gonna
when you-
take
When
another
you
couple
accuse
of
the
minutes.
witness of something, he's allowed to respond. That's how it works. You say
Listen, he
something,
didn't
you say
even,
something-
excuse me,
Mr. Chairman.
She didn't accuse him of anything. She asked specifically, did he meet with him? And he dodged like a bitch.
Chairman, you have
Point
always
of
been
order.
fair, but
I'm-
this is
and I'm
not
being
fair.
fair, and you will get
no,
your-
this
you will
is
get your
my
time.
and he
You will give the
said
gentlelady
that the
a few
witnesses
additional
were not credible.
seconds of time.
I'm going to get an additional minute of time because
No,
that's
you'll
how
get
much time
you
he
won't
took.
get a minute. You'll get some seconds. What we think is under 5 minutes. You don't get to demand how
Mr.
much time you
Patel.
get. That's not how it works.
Mr. Patel, are the victims of the Jeffrey Epstein horrific trafficking ring, are they credible?
Any person with information about ongoing sexual trafficking.
I'm asking you if they're credible.
Ma'am, I'm
Are
commenting
they
on the
credible?
evidence we have.
But
And we have routinely asked for people to come forward with more evidence.
They did come forward, you dumb motherfucker. Oh, this is so great. But it's easy to get riled up about this because he's so fucking gross. But this is awesome because this motherfucker knows that Trump has handed him a shovel, said dig a hole, get in the hole, and fill it back in. He's the perfect slime ball patsy for this shit. He is succumbing to this bullshit willingly, but as I showed you on that Pat Gray shit that they're playing clips of this kind of stuff, and let's see if I could where's that fucking title page? Or did I shut it? Damn it. Anyways, the Pat Gray clip, the literal title from today is "Where are the Epstein Files?" And it's got him on a picture of him, and it says there's no black book. It's this dodge, this disseminating, this flailing bullshit is not working, which is fantastic. Peter, thank you so much. Oh my God. But thank you for the super chat. As infuriating as it is for us to watch, it's equally, ironically, infuriating for maggots. And this is good news. This is especially good news for the victims eventually, because they are going to see justice, because nobody, even the most maggoty faithful, are gonna let it slide. We certainly aren't. And a lot of those folks are going to have to decide next year. Am I going to vote for Republicans in the House and the Senate and continue, feeding the ability for Kash Patel and people like him to hide the Epstein files amongst all the other bullshit that Trump is doing? Or do I either vote for Democrats, which is a long shot, I understand, for a bunch of them, but for the independents it isn't? Or do I just stand down? Fuck this, I'm going home. And this moment, these hearings are making a bunch of those people go, fuck it, I'm going home. So, there you go.
We will look at it, and the evidence that we have was the same evidence that the Biden and Obama Justice Departments had, and they determined, not me, they determined that information was not credible.
Chairman, he's not letting me even ask my questions.
You ask the questions, he gives an answer. You may not like what he says, but that doesn't mean you get to interrupt
he's not answering
him.
my question.
Mr. Chairman, could we restore the gentlelady 45 seconds so she can
We will
complete
give her
her question?
additional 30 seconds, which is what I said
I'm
earlier.
going to keep taking my time. Because
you'll take
here's
the time
thing.
that you get. You get
are
30
not
seconds.
answering the.
You have to understand that Jim Jordan has a long and storied history of looking the other way when people are sexually assaulted. So it's particularly galling and fucked up that he's the one that's helping Kash Patel along this way. But it's trust me on this. This is not working out well for them. Now, let me jump over to something else, because this is kind of crucial. I mean, very crucial. So here's what Trump wishes the fucking White House looked like. And I'm glad it doesn't, because fuck royals. I'm an American. I don't believe in magic families. This idea that government is passed down through a shot of sperm is fucking ridiculous and can go pound sand. I think it's adorable that the UK still does it, and Norway and other countries or whatever. Knock yourself the fuck out. But I will view it with the same depth as I view fucking Mickey and Minnie Mouse. It's a tourist attraction. I don't believe in its authority. And I never will. Yes, hail to the sperm, it's the sperm we all be sperm to. Shut the fuck up, people. This is dumb. It's dumb. But Trump is like, this would be so much easier. Then I could just hand it to Eric, or he'd sever my head and hold it up on the top of a castle. However, I don't know how it works. But they served him this big dinner in this, in this infinity mirror hallway. And he gives this speech. Trump delivers memorable speech. George H.W. Bush had a very memorable dinner with the Japanese prime minister when he barfed on his lap. memorable without, any other adjectives, any kind of descriptives isn't really helpful. Praising U.S.-UK ties and shared values. Here we go.
Melania and I are deeply grateful to you and Queen Camilla for your extraordinary graciousness. And to William and Kate, thank you so much. It's been so great being with you today. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
It's been great standing next to you while you're 6'3", and everybody can tell I was bullshitting this whole time about my height.
It's a singular privilege to be the first American president welcomed here. And if you think about it, it's a lot of presidents, and
sorry, if you were the 12th president, this would kind of suck because they didn't wait that long. Also, water under the bridge. Time has passed. They've gotten over the war finally, I guess.
This was the second state visit, and that's the first, and maybe that's going to be the last time. I hope it is, actually. But this is truly one of the highest honors of my life.
What an asshole.
Such respect for you and such respect for your country. For many decades, His Majesty the
Uh-oh. He's doing the big reading twitch. Oh, God, here comes a word.
King has epitomized the fortitude, nobility, and the spirit of the British monarchy and the British people. He's dedicated him.
The fortitude of the British monarchy. Oh, you mean that thing we kicked the shit out of a quarter millennia ago?
Himself to preserving the glory and unique character of this kingdom, restoring life to the rivers and streams, supporting the work.
Restoring what? Sorry. I thought I thought Charles was king because his mom died. I didn't realize he pulled the sword from the fucking stone. Jesus Christ. The land and the king are one. The king is dead. Long live the king.
Of its artists and composers, planting trees and gardens in its countryside. And I just visited one of the most beautiful I've ever seen that you just completed. And protecting the architectural integrity of cities, villages, and towns.
So that what? They're not overrun with Norwegian modern?
He has uplifted the poor, cared for rural farmers, and
healed the sick, and fucked lepers. No, sorry, I always get this.
Intended to wounded veterans like nobody else.
Well, that's not very reassuring. I would hope they would have doctors. Yes, they're like, oh my God, his guts are all over the ground and the legs are there. Doctor, do something. I really have never really. But is the king around? Really? The only person that can do this is the king. Why do you think he's the king? Because he's the greatest medical doctor in the area. That seems kind of a bad plan. Otherwise, what if there's two people injured in two different places? The king giveth, the king taketh away. Sorry, son, you're fucked. Yeah, the king's at a dinner with some pussy-grabbing orange fuck from America. I don't know what to tell you. Like nobody else.
I'll tell you that I just stood in line and shook about 150 hands. And the king knew every single person and every single company. And some of them had bad names like X.
Bad names?
YZ-Q3. And he knew every one of them, or at least I think he did, because nobody was complaining. I was very impressed with that.
I don't even know my name half the time. This is funny that you know, apparently there were robots running this. Okay, he knew the names of the people and their companies, and Trump doesn't give a shit. Also, the UK is not that big, and the power structure because of the monarchy is fairly narrow. I was like, I don't know. Some of these names are hard. They have X's in them and stuff. Derp. Jesus. The whole what was your name again?
Burmese.
I can't pronounce. I'm sorry. How is it?
The Burmese executives. So this Burmese, Burmese, they say
pronounce it Baricia.
Do they? Do they? Because I don't think.
Look.
I think maybe it's not them. Maybe it's you.
Michigan gave us Motang.
You know what I mean? Like maybe that's just what it sounds like when people have a memory that functions, Mr. Super Memory.
But I just want to say that His Majesty has also raised a remarkable son in His Royal Highness Prince of Wales.
He's got 2 sons. Just saying. Raised, even if the other son's not there. 2 of them. Asshole.
Amazing. We've gotten to know you, and I think you're going to have an unbelievable success in future. Melania and I are delighted.
Success in future being the future king, because pretty much you don't have to do elections or anything. I mean, you're tall, so #winning.
To visit again with Prince William and to see Her Royal Highness Princess Catherine, so radiant and so healthy, so beautiful. It's really a great honor. Thank you.
Thank you for not being sick near me. I have a real problem with sick people. So I was all ready to be icky because you had the big C or something like that. Ugh. But you look great. Nice tits. Anyways, where was I? Fuck me.
Many years ago, His Majesty opened his archives to a biographer. Among the documents was a letter from 1993 in which he described the patriotism and guided his many projects. He wrote that he was, quote, entirely motivated by a desperate desire to put the great back into Great Britain in the finest tradition of British sovereignty.
So basically, some words hard to read, some words attack face. Why are these words? Why am I reading a thing that basically proves that Make America Great Again, wasn't original, wasn't my idea, and wasn't even original to the United States? Sorry, Kate. That'll cure your cancer. But some of these words, it's like there should be a cartoon of like some of the words are just going.
He's given his whole heart, everything he's got to those.
His whole heart? I hate when people just give one of the ventricles, like an asshole.
Parts of Britain that are beyond the realm of mere legislation.
I'm laughing partly at what he's saying, but at the idea that everybody else is listening to this shit. And this motherfucker, when he gets to go back to the fucking kitchen or wherever he is and just goes, well, that was a fucking waste of time. Jesus Christ. They dragged this motherfucker around. I mean, I wish we could piss on him, but like King George was an inbred freak. I swear to God. This is some of the stupidest...
A chat with you and somehow death loses its sting.
This is embarrassing to no end.
Shut up and never say anything again as long as you live.
It's not easy. But
being king, which, kind of like being green,
which define its essence and its virtue, its harmony and its soul. It's an amazing calling, and there's nobody that's answered that calling.
He doesn't have a choice. It's a fucking lineage. Answered that calling. There's nobody that answered that calling. I'm sorry, what are you talking about? That somebody in England didn't step up and go, I shall be king. I raise my sword to you, Charles. We shall decide the true royal. I am the Scottish bastard child of Elizabeth, hidden these many years in a castle upon the moors. I am here to seek my kingdom. You dusty old fuck, get out. Nobody's answered the call to be the fucking... well, I guess Andrew would have picked up the phone, but he fucked up his life being a friend of yours. Nobody's answered the fucking call. Oh, fuck me. All right. This is fucking 6 minutes long, and it's like a year has passed. Oh, those poor people at that table who fucking deserve it. That's what you get for thinking you're royal. You have to sit and listen to dusty tapioca brain dipshits like this blow smoke up your ass in the most incompetent way possible. Oh, shit. God, nobody stepped up to take... Oh, God. All right, wait.
An amazing calling, and there's nobody that's answered that calling.
I shall challenge you, my lord and liege, to a duel for these lands.
Like you have. A fifth of all of humanity.
Basically, I'm just insulting your mom and your dad. What do you think? Like, he's automatically... Well, I guess he's male. Maybe that's... Is that what he's going... Is that where he's going with this?
Speaks, writes, thinks, and prays, and the language...
Oh, yeah, sorry. He's zipping through whatever the fuck bullshit this is.
Answered that calling. Like you have. A fifth of all of humanity speaks, writes, thinks, and prays, and the language born on these isles and perfected in...
Yeah. Everybody but you... You blathering fuck. Yeah, a fifth of the world speaks English. Awesome. Can you say a quarter of the world speaks fucking Chinese? Oh, God damn it. When you go there in Chinese, you dumb son of a bitch. Of course not. 他不会说中文.
The pages of Shakespeare and Dickens and Tolkien, Lewis, Orwell, and Kipling.
Orwell and Kipling. All authors this motherfucker has not even cracked the cover of.
Incredible people. Unbelievable people like we have rarely seen before, probably.
Yes, say what you will about Kipling, but he had a rock-hard ass and abs, tall dude, shiny teeth, curly hair, golden skin, piercing eyes. Oh, no, he was just kind of an old English dude.
We won't see again.
Thanks, that's great. Well, you won't. Why, you gonna not make the flight home, you dumb motherfucker? This is fucking stupid. We're never going to have authors the quality of these people that I've never read before. Look at everybody at the table.
The lion-hearted people of this kingdom defeated Napoleon.
The lion-hearted people.
Unleashed the Industrial Revolution, destroyed slavery, and defended civilization in the darkest days of fascism and communism.
With our help, obviously.
The British gave the world the Magna Carta, the modern...
The Magna Carta. Which, of course, is a special form of iron ore that sticks to peanuts. I'm gonna... Son of a bitch. The Magna Carta. Oh. This might be the greatest 6 minutes of film ever. Damn. Oh. God, I'm afraid to push play. Oh, you guys doing okay? Chat room, does anybody need a break? You need to take a fucking walk around the block to deal with the next 2 minutes of this nonsense? Oh my God. Shit. And his family's from Scotland, who would fucking hate the monarch. Never mind, like he fucking knows.
Parliament and Francis Bacon's scientific method. They gave us the works of Locke, Hobbes, Smith.
Like what? The works of Locke and Hobbes. Like gave us working locks. Calvin and Hobbes. Mr. and Mrs. Smith, great movie, very exciting. The irony that they were both spies and didn't know it. They were that good. And is Calvin real? Who gives their kid a pet tiger, honestly?
Burke, Newton, and Blackstone. The legal, intellectual, cultural, and political traditions of this
motherfucker and his Wikipedia speeches are like, most people don't even know Great Britain is in England.
kingdom have been among the highest achievements of mankind. There's really never been anything like it.
Just awesome. Just like, whew. Yeah, I mean, bro. This is so stupid. Can you imagine being Marco Rubio and having a plane flight ahead of you where you have to pretend to be dumber than this motherfucker? Oh, God. Here we go. This is hard.
The British Empire laid the foundations of law, liberty, free speech, and individual rights virtually everywhere. The Union Jack is ever...
Yeah, except the colonies. I don't know what that was about. Apparently we had a bit of a dust-up.
flown, including a...
He's like, I have an AI that could just do this speech and we could all just get back to our dessert. That's Jensen Huang, by the way.
place called America.
A little place called America.
You know that place very well, don't you? His Majesty spoke.
No, he doesn't. He's been here like what, twice? He wasn't alive during the Revolutionary War, you dumb motherfucker. There's not like special memory gems in his goddamn crown, you tit.
Eloquently about the bond which inspired Sir Winston Churchill, and the bust is in the Oval Office right now, the beautiful bust of Winston Churchill to call.
Easy. I mean, he was an important man, but nobody's looking at any pictures of Winston Churchill and going, that's hot. That's fucking hot, man. Say what you will, but goddamn. Not being gay myself, looking at that bust, not her bust, the bust of Winston Churchill, man. Like I'm like getting a semi with that the Winston Churchill hotness. God damn.
The phrase special relationship.
Not unlike the special relationship I have with that beautiful bust of Winston Churchill that I stare at.
But seen from American eyes, the word special does not begin to do it justice.
Why? Because we used to use that word for mentally challenged people, or because we used to use it that like CBS would play it before we watched Charlie Brown cartoons around Thanksgiving, or a certain like really heavy episodes of sitcoms. I think it's probably closer to that one.
We're joined by history and fate, and by love and language.
Sorry, history and faith? I think he means faith.
We're joined by history and fate, and by love and language.
or fate, history and fate, love and language, that's the important thing. The important thing is that we look around this room and think of all the many ways that we're joined, and not just because there's a rock hard, hot, beautiful bust of Winston Churchill on my fucking desk. I mean, look at this room. It's fabulous! Sorry, this is just...
And by transcendent time.
Who is this guy? Please let us out of here. Oh, please. Can we leave, please? I'm really, I can't believe this is happening. Oh, I'm over. My neck hurts from turning this way. Please say something like, in conclusion. Because really, like I've peed myself 4 times sitting here. Honestly. Help. Help. This is I've got to be completely frank, tremendously disappointing. And I'm shocked at that because I knew you were an idiot before you showed up. I thought at least, being a running buddy of Jeffrey Epstein's, you'd at least have the gift of gab. Say what you will about Jeff, but he could intoxicate people into doing shit they wouldn't normally do, but you, good Lord, are you basically the Quaalude in his roofie mix? Fuck me. Where's dessert?
Of culture, tradition.
Check, please. Really, just a check. What, no dessert? No dessert. Thank you very much. Yes, and also don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you.
Tradition, ancestry, and destiny.
Look at this guy. Oh dear. I haven't felt this awkward since I was on a charity stage with Jimmy Savile 2 days after the indictment dropped.
We're like 2 notes in 1 chord.
Yeah, we are. It's D minor, the saddest of all keys.
2 verses of the same poem.
Does it involve a man from Nantucket?
Each beautiful on its own, but really meant to be played together.
What? No. Monarchy and democracy are... No, not at all.
Bond of kinship and identity between America and the United Kingdom is priceless and eternal. It's irreplaceable and unbreakable, and we are...
And other very important sounding words.
As a country, as you know, doing unbelievably well.
Never pass up an opportunity. You guys are great, but let me tell you something. My dick is shriveled and tiny, but I brought one from home that's sort of an attachment, and I'm just going to lay a giant dildo on the table and go, I use this, and fuck you.
We had a very sick country 1 year ago, and today, I believe we're the hottest country.
We're almost as hot as a bust of Winston Churchill. You what now? You fucking what? You fucking what? What? This motherfucker. You fucking what? Did you now? Oh, what fucking... Do you have, like, no manners? Jesus Christ, man. If this was Thanksgiving, I'd send you to the fucking kiddie table. You fucking what?
Anywhere in the world. In fact, nobody's even questioning it.
Nobody's even questioning it. I am. Shh.
But we owe so much of that to you and the footing that you gave us when we started.
What? The footing? The footing? What? By what? Trying to kill us all? What the fuck? The footing? Is it? Sorry, is that his new word for like the Magna Carta and Judeo-Christian values? Is our footing? It was the stepping stone. You know, like Jesus's forehead. It's something you just stand on and give yourself a lift.
Together, we've done more good for humanity than any two countries in all of history. Together, we must defend the exceptional heritage that makes us who we are,
and that is, of course, the heritage of wearing suits that are curiously ill-fitting, in spite of the fact that lots of money has been spent on them. Also, have you felt like that a tuxedo and a diaper really don't go well together? Probably just me. Okay.
We must continue to stand for the values and the people of the English-speaking world, and we do indeed stand for that.
Certainly not with proper English.
On behalf of all Americans, I offer a toast to one of the great friendships, to two great countries, and to His Majesty, King Charles III, a very, very special man and all.
Awesome and tall, with an outstanding proboscis, and I think I know what that means.
So a very, very special queen. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Of all the queens in the world, she's a special one. She's so as to say, if I might, yes, queen. That's what.
Thank you very much. It's a great honor to be with you.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, this guy's on a wind down tour. This is like a band on its farewell tour, knowing that the drummers got fifth stage syphilis and they're not going to be able to play June of next year. They're gonna the last show is coming up. Like that's what this is. He's just going to go visit all these people to kind of cement the future of maybe what he thinks are his business interests before. Oh, god damn. Chad, are you guys okay? That was fucking terrible. Ooh, god, so funny. All right. I'm hesitant to, like, that was so much fun to like jump back into like some of the awful we deal with on the show. Honest to God. Here, you know what I would like to do though? May I? Okay. So one of the things that these motherfuckers have been talking about is how the left violence, the left violence of the left, and the left is the violence, and the left is violence. And Charlie Kirk was 31 years old, and the left killed him because the left or something or other. Okay. Do you think any of them have any idea? I'm going to bring this up. Hold on. Do you think any of them feel that way about David Rose? Do you think any of the right are as upset about the death of David Rose? Officer David Rose. Officer David Rose was killed when a gunman showed up at the CDC and the CVS across the street, apparently thinking they were related. And in an act of right-wing terrorism, opened fire on the CDC, firing, a couple hundred bullets, and I think like 134 of them actually striking the building and people. This is David Rose. This is Officer David Rose. Officer David Rose, bless his heart and condolences to his family, is just as dead as Charlie Kirk. So, I want to be abundantly clear. In all this, the left wing does more violence than the right wing. The reason they think this is because they actively ignore the voluminous number of cases of right-wing violence. Specifically, this is a RFK Jr. right-winger, anti-COVID vaccine fuckhead opening fire on the CDC, on the building. It's just the staff and people working there. Because of right-wingers' attacks on Fauci and all that kind of stuff, and this idea that that's the central part of how they're going to attack and control the populace and all that, right? And some people are saying no, they don't know his name because he was black. I would like to venture that while that is a special aspect of this circumstance, they wouldn't give a fuck if he was white either. If a cop was killed by a right-wing shooter at the CDC, this is the one area where they don't give a shit about the content of his character, and they don't give a shit about the color of his skin. They're all about, cops and, back the blue and all that kind of stuff. But none of them are talking about Officer Rose. And Officer Rose, insofar as I know, and I love to be proven wrong, I suppose, never went on a podcast and said that if he sees a woman or a black person flying an airplane, he doesn't feel comfortable being on that plane. Pretty sure of that. Pretty sure that as a peace officer, Officer Rose just went where he was needed and died in the process. He died for what he believed in, which was the right of every American around him to live in safety and security. Officer Rose is dead. Officer Rose is dead because a right-winger shot up the CDC indiscriminately. Not targeted political violence, random, spraying political violence. And they won't bring him up. They won't talk about him. And I genuinely mean this. They wouldn't care if he was white either. Because the narrative about left versus right is more important to them in these moments. They wouldn't know. They wouldn't care. I see the thing about Jimmy Kimmel kids. I'm not surprised by that. And it's largely temporary. Everybody's shifting around. They're going to get out of people's contracts this way now that they can. Yeah. But flags were not at half staff because of the death of Officer Rose. Even on CDC grounds. Like, if you were president of the United States, wouldn't you think, you know what? Officer Rose died protecting the people at the CDC and at that CVS across the street because the killer was a right-winger and therefore fucking dumb, along with being murderous and evil. And so we're going to lower all the flags at the CDC and the NIH facilities in his honor because of the people he sought to save. Not that he would have, not sought to save people in any other circumstance. And also, I would like to say, from my own point of view, that in the name of Officer Rose, if I could be so bold, fuck all the ACAB people. Because when you say ACAB and you flippantly post all cops are bastards, fuck the cops, cops and pigs and cops, you're not saying some, you're not saying the Chauvins of the world, you're saying all. And that means you own all. You own what you say. If you don't believe it, don't say it. If you do believe it, you mean he had it coming. In which case, fuck you. I will go to the mat with anybody over this shit. Stop it. Don't call for violence against your fellow human beings. If you're ever in a situation where you're confronted with a violent circumstance, you can defend yourself to the extent of the violence necessary to protect yourself or those around you. Otherwise, shut the fuck up. Yes, anybody who floats the ACAB bullshit, any of them, fuck off with that nonsense. It's gross. It's grotesque. And nobody else is on the hook for whether or not you're wrong or right or anything. That is your burden to carry, that you threw around all and that includes Officer Rose. It also includes, I guess, the FBI agents that were killed in Florida a couple years ago, serving a warrant on a child pornographer who were shot through the door and killed. I guess it includes them too. I guess it includes every female cop that walks up and asks somebody to see their license and registration and it's just shot through the fucking window. Includes them too. If you're going to say all, own it. If you don't believe it, then don't fucking say it. Do better. Because you're spitting in his face and in his family's face when you do that. And if you're like, but I don't. ACAB is an indictment, not a sentence or an execution. It's saying they deserve it. Of course it is. It means the ramifications are such that they've got whatever it is coming, and all of them. No. Bigotry is fucking bigotry. It's garbage. It always will be. Do better. If you're trying to criticize bad cops and bad policing, then do it. Hal, you got the same fervor for cops that kill innocent people? Yes. Of course I do. And I don't say that all the people that get killed deserve it. All people that are shot by the cops are bad, right? Do you ever see me do that? No. Because all is a meaningful word. Yeah. Don't give me this horseshit that you're pro-peace or you believe in the rights of every human being and then say shit like ACAB. And if you can't see it, then why would anybody trust you to make a bigger decision about anything else? Your opinion, your belief about that. If you're that willing to be that dismissive of reality. Bicycle Mike says, I don't trust the police. Yes, you do. You absolutely do. You think you don't, you do. You know how I know? Because if they turned on their lights and they pulled you over, you would pull over. You wouldn't race to the middle of downtown, abandon your car, and climb up on a fucking roof and scream, they're coming to get me. You do. Sometimes you don't. And sometimes you feel like you have the right to not trust them, and that's fine. But when you start saying all, you get to be just as bad as anybody else, and you write off the value of human life. What happened? Just so you know, this is the police officer that was shot when the right-wing terrorist attacked the CDC and opened fire on the building, firing 500 rounds and hitting the building 140 some odd times. He was killed. And maggots are not up in arms about the death of Officer Rose. They're not upset. He's a victim of political assassination. He was murdered by someone who was trying to carry out their political will through the barrel of a gun, just like Tyler Robinson is alleged to have done. And they don't know his fucking name. And they won't. Because they're lying about their ethics and morals and beliefs. And just because they are inconsistent does not mean we have to be inconsistent. Other than that, I have no opinion. But I wanted to throw that out there in the name of Officer Rose. It's a terrible thing that he had a daughter, and I believe another son, two little children, and his wife was pregnant with their third. They held the services for him at the First Baptist Church of Atlanta, and well, here, I'll show you real quick something. This is everyone signing a remembrance for David Rose. There was talk at one point that Melania Trump was going to show up, and there was also talk that J.D. Vance was going to show up. Guess who didn't? Both of them. And so when the CDC director was talking today about, RFK Jr. forcing everybody to, basically saying, you're either going to lie on my behalf and ignore the science, or you're going to get fired. And they all quit or said, fine, then fire me. One of the things that came up was this shooting. And it was amazing to me how few people made the connection between the shooting of David Rose and the shooting of Charlie Kirk. And sadly, the biggest connection is notoriety. In one case, the absolute saturation, and on the other case, radio silence. And right now you've got, RFK Jr. not only getting people like Officer Rose killed, but kids are getting measles. We got a 92% vaccination rate around measles right now, which means you got about 8% of kids at varying levels that could catch it and die from it, or die from complications from it later. Same thing with Hep B. So yeah, this matters. And being dismissive of the reality doesn't get us anywhere. And writing off large groups of people and assuming the inhumanity of them is what the other side does, and I won't participate in it. And I've been through this a bunch of times with people, but this is not something that's going to go away. This is not something I will be moved on. If you want to find somebody who's all in on this idea of, categorizing human beings by their job or their skin color, and saying they are good or bad strictly for those reasons, there are plenty of people who will bullshit you to the end of your days about that. But it's why I don't believe in royals and why I believe in humanity. Groove Dragon apparently is questioning my belief that the right wing has a higher call for violence than the left, which is clearly what's going on, and the ACAB stuff contributes to the violence against police officers when it does occur, in the same way that the Roseannes of the world and stuff spin up people who would shoot up the CDC without directly ever calling for them to actually physically do it. It matters. So yeah. And also, I don't know about the part where I'm supposedly wrong on the war on drugs, except that it has been restarted and actually done as a war now. So, yeah. So anyway, so that's where I am on it, and I shall stay there. And people can come and try to knock me off this hill. It's not going to happen. So now let's see. Holy shit! With this, one of the things about paranoia and belief in an other, that Abacab is a great song by Genesis, which is, by the way, the name comes from the song structure: verse, bridge, verse, chorus, verse, bridge. Yeah. Or I think in their case, yeah, that's how they laid it out. The A's are verses. So, let's. One of the big turns that's happened day after day. She's still mad at us. Is this is who ordered the hit on Charlie Kirk? Think about this for a second. Okay, imagine if you're on our side of the aisle and you go, oh, the right's trying to pin this on us, and you don't believe that somebody on our side of the aisle did it. So you believe somebody ripped, made up this whole story, set it up, created a patsy to make the left the bad guy in this. Imagine, and there are reasons behind this, especially as people try to gin up a civil war between people, why you might be, it would be understandable that you would come to that conclusion. Might be wrong, you might be deluded in thinking it, but I'm sure people have come to that conclusion. They somebody MK Ultra'd this guy into doing this so they could blame the left and cause, I don't know, whatever, Jade Helm, MK Ultra, control FEMA camp shit, right? Alex Jones has been saying we were planning on doing to the right, but never got around to it. You can kind of be, I think you would be forgiven for thinking that, considering how sort of on the nose, Dadgad's a great way to, is a great tuning crock, that these folks you would think the Candace Owens of the world would jump right on that storyline. That the left did it, it's clearly the left, it's a plan, and they hated him for his anti-trans views. A trans adjacent person pulled this off. Kind of makes sense logically in its venomous illogic. It's right up there with Edmund Kemper and Bundy's attitude towards women and shit. Of course it led them to their actions, right? Doesn't forgive them, but it explains it. This, right? Okay. But they can't. And I don't know how far in she gets in this. I'm just going to do a needle drop. Let's jump ahead to this bullshit.
Okay, we're not done playing this game.
Hold on.
Look it up. When is the last time that you used the word retrieve between you and a friend?
Retrieve? This is what she's stuck on. I need to retrieve my rifle. So it's wrapped in a towel. When's the last time you actually said towel? Don't you do towels when you're doing laundry? When's the last time you turned someone around? Where'd my towel go? Didn't you ask for paper towels and not a paper towel?
I'm going to retrieve something. I played this game with my entire staff, and
let's see. You all think alike.
I was able to find, since dating back for the last 3 years, 2 messages where someone used that term. The
Really? Were they both about a gun wrapped in a towel? I wouldn't be shocked.
first person was somebody that was former military, and the second person was a cop. Makes sense. Okay, we're not done playing this game. Second term that I want you to look for in your phone is vehicle. Vehicle. I mean, what pops up for you? Is that something that you say? I'm just going to go outside to my vehicle. I left something in my vehicle. I'll be right back. I just parked. I parked my vehicle outside. I don't remember where I parked my vehicle.
Uh-huh. Well, if you're trying to describe it, you usually say car, my car, right? You'd say car, or you'd say, the jalopy. The reason you say vehicle is because you're trying not to be descriptive. that maybe if you just committed a crime, you don't want to like key them up. What if it's a truck? What if it's a motorcycle? What if it's in the saddlebags of that? What if it's your, it's your conveyance? That's why vehicle. Thanks, Vinny.
What's popping up for you? Oh, probably literally nothing. Maybe something related to the DMV. That's what came up for me. Things about the DMV. I think for Skylar, something came up for his car wash. Your vehicle is ready. Sounds pretty professional. I don't know what to tell you guys, though, because what they're telling us is that is just the way the 22-year-olds are speaking these days. Apparently, they just shoot the breeze with one another, and they say vehicle and retrieve. And if you don't...
These are big words. By the way, can I just say engineering student and nerds? And also, like I said, if you don't want to describe your vehicle by saying it's a car or a truck or a van, or it's out in the van, it's out in the car, it's out in the trunk of my car, it's in the... You say vehicle to keep it hidden. That'd be the theory.
Believe me.
Which is also not hard. Yeah, she gets so stuck on this independent in the chat. Like, it's... And that's what they're dissecting. Like, this is what happens when... Like, there's so many details about this that you could just jump on with 2 feet, and they're, like, parsing single words.
Then good. You shouldn't believe that. You shouldn't believe me when I say that. So welcome back to Candace.
Thanks. I feel welcome. I don't know about you guys. Hold on. Vehicle sounds like a very Jewish word to me, I think. Doesn't it? Okay.
Love vehicles, love fast vehicles. I'm a big vehicle person, said nobody ever. The text messages that were released yesterday in the indictment of Tyler Robinson make perfect sense if you don't think about them at all.
But they make no sense if you've been up all night reading them in bed. I mean, like, what the fuck, okay?
Like, literally, if you suspend all reason, all rationality, then they can make perfect sense. That's the only way. You just have to stop thinking. You got to get to that point where you're...
Right, by the way, this is not an accident. This is... So if you take anything at face value or you think someone's overplaying this when it's kind of unnecessary, or you think it's a manufactured thing, you're basically saying, I think this was drafted up so that the roommate could distance themselves from, their, like, so that they wouldn't get their roommate in trouble or their partner in trouble. So they fucking chat GPT'd this whole exchange or whatever, then just fucking say that. But the insistence in this idea that if anybody goes, no, I can see why they would talk like that around any particular thing, because that's who they are, not who you are. You don't talk like that, but they do. Like, Silicon Valley is full of people who talk like this, and these people were all like online engineering and coding nerds, all in these groups. So maybe that's their thing, maybe it isn't. It's so stupid.
Like, are we still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? No, to be fair. Now we are more broadly considering how stupid the feds believe that we are.
Well, I mean, I think they've just written me off as being un-American, but I think that they definitely think you're a dopey shithead. They believe that you'll bitch and moan about this crap to no end, but then when it really comes down to it, you'll tell everybody that Dems are worse and get back in line.
And the frankly obnoxious messages that someone strung together...
Frankly, they're obnoxious, okay?
...must clearly be for either our or their own entertainment. So I want to hyper-focus on them.
Sorry. So Kash Patel's FBI, in conjunction with the Utah state and local police, crafted this indictment and cut these texts out, made them up out of whole cloth to fuck with Candace Owens. To just dick with you guys. That's the theory now? That not only do they know they're going to get away with it, but they're just fucking wagging their dicks at you. That's shit.
I want to actually hyper-focus on what exactly is wrong with these text messages between...
Well, maybe, there's a different... Like, Hyperfocus is can be a anti-wisdom. Wisdom is where you can step back and get a broad view of the whole picture, and then you can pick out parts of it that don't stand out because of the greater, the prevailing amount of evidence or circumstance points in one direction, and this could be cutting against that. But feel free to dive in for another, whatever this is, hour and 11 minutes.
And Tyler. Now, first and foremost, the obvious thing, there's no timestamps, right?
Yeah, they don't need them for the indictment. The timestamps will be in the court case, in the evidence. And also, the only area where you can, if these assholes want to flip out, they can flip out if Tyler takes a deal so there's no case, so that evidence doesn't come out. Although I'm fairly certain, like Kash Patel and those guys would release the stuff with the timestamps and all that kind of stuff just to fuck with people.
Right away, major red flag. Very easy to say he sent the first message at this time. It's a part of your investigation.
Yeah, but they don't need that for the indictment. It was said. They will make the case when it was said and that it's in line with stuff. They don't have to convince the judge. The judge isn't going to go, oh, he said this after Charlie was killed, right? But not exactly when. 2 hours? 1 hour? The next day? The next morning? Like, this is so fucking lazy.
Right? Everybody is on edge globally wanting to know what happened. And they just...
I don't know. I don't know if they're globally on edge. Trump certainly isn't. He's over there fucking giving King Charles a hand job.
Remove that. But don't worry, you guys, because like I told you, one of the things that me and Charlie always believed in was that we could work harder. And I got to tell you, these devils are working pretty hard, but we can work harder than them.
These devils. I would presume you mean Kash Patel and the devils around Donald Trump in the White House and the Department of Justice? That's what we're talking about, right? I mean, if you're going to dive down and be specific, it isn't fucking Comey. It's not Peter Strzok. It's not Joe fucking Biden.
Okay. And I decided to go back and on the basis of what Tyler Robinson allegedly writes to his lover, I decided I could work them into the timeline. I could work out an approximate timeline, at least, for us to look at visually for when they had to have been sent.
I'm going to guess after Charlie Kirk killed, before he turns himself in, probably within a 3-hour window on the 11th in the morning. Yeah, when the pictures came out. Like because that was the whole thing about seeing the picture, and that's what triggered so after the pictures come out and before he turned himself in. What do you think the chances are, guys? What do you think? If she says September 9th.
Sent on the basis of what he's saying, right? Because he says certain things that were not revealed to the public at a certain time. So we're going to do that.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. I guess the assumption in the indictment that they happened after things happened, that when they're describing things that happened, that the descriptions happened after the thing that they're describing happened. Fuck me.
I also want to point out the fact that the language, which many people said online, somebody actually left a very funny comment. It's like borderline poetic. He's got commas in there. It's like perfect English. And that's actually a striking contrast compared to what's inscribed on the casings, right?
Well, it's a lot easier to type on your phone than carve words on a fucking bullet shell, right? And also, like, in general, there's not a lot of room for poetry. What an asshole.
He goes through all of these memes that he's...
Right, which are in their own way, I think, nerd poetry.
Written, and I'm not hip to the lingo. Okay, you got to be real deep internet and hip, but for whatever reason, when he's writing these messages, he's very proper, extremely proper, right? What really wants to make sure he gets the punctuation.
Well, he's an asshole who thinks he's talking to his dear love about a crime he just committed. It's ego. Jesus.
Correct.
Sounds like a boomer cop.
Let's just dive right back into the timeline. Let's dive right back into this.
Get back in that timeline. Timeline, Karen. explaining to all of us how time functions allegedly.
That's not how it works.
All right, here we go.
This conversation, and we're at first going to focus on the third message.
I think, yeah, start with first. You should start with third. Yeah.
And don't forget just to lead
And then
up.
go back to the second one because that helps with the timeline. And then jump to 7 and then come back to 1. I think, is that clear? Everybody got, who's got their whiteboard out?
Into this. They are telling us that at no time that we're allowed to know on September 10th, after Charlie Kirk was shot, the roommate, that's Lance, received a text message from Robinson which said, "Drop what you are doing, look under my keyboard." And so Lance, I don't know what he does all day, but he can do that. He knows he's home. And Lance then
He knows how to look under a keyboard.
and runs. I'm saying he ran, prances, who knows?
Fuck you. Prances. Because trans, because gay. That's it. I just want to point out who we're dealing with. Okay.
And looks, and he sees this note. And to be clear, we're never going to be able to see that note because the feds have since told us that the note was destroyed. But even though he destroyed the note, he took a picture of it. Yeah, that makes sense because if you're going to destroy something, the best thing to do is to take a picture of it.
Right. If your partner has got a gun and just killed somebody, and maybe you're concerned for your own safety, I'm just spitballing.
The feds saw the picture, but we're not going to be able to see either. Anyways, don't think about it if you want it to make sense. Then we find out that Lance, I guess, decided to take a picture and then text Tyler back. And here is where he asks him, Lance says, "Tyler, what? You're joking, right?" Because, the note said, "I had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to take it." So Lance is like, "What? You're joking." And
Yeah, we went through this yesterday.
Robinson says to him, Tyler says, "I'm still okay, my love, but I am stuck in Orem," that's the town, okay, that UVU is at, "for a little while longer yet." So poetic. A little while longer yet. I'm going to look that up on my phone later. "It shouldn't be long until I can come home, but I got to grab my rifle still. To
Yes, nothing more poetic than "gotta grab my rifle still."
be honest, I had
Later, the use of retrieve comes in, but it starts out with "gotta grab." And again, look, the point of this, I would like to make clear, is not the veracity of this particular note or the veracity of the shooter or any of that stuff. I'm pointing out the fact that regardless, they have to find something else. And they will make this not make sense because it doesn't fit what they need. How a few people say he's not the killer. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people do. It's the fucking internet.
hope to keep this secret till I died of old age. I'm sorry to involve you." Now, I want to jump to this next message because it gives us a timeline.
There's a bunch of people on the right saying that the two people on either side of him shot him, his own security, because they were paid by Israel. That's part of what she's selling without actually doing it. Does that make sense? Yeah, she wants the trans roommate in jail. That's all this is about.
Says to him, I assume right away, Lance says, "You weren't the one who did it, right?" And Robinson says, "I am. I'm sorry." And the roommate says, "I thought they caught the person." Okay. And Robinson responds, "No, they grabbed some crazy old dude, then interrogated someone in similar clothing. I had planned to grab my rifle from my drop point shortly after, but most of that side of town got locked down."
Yes, this sounds so old-fashioned. I think it's the use of thee, thou, and ye that really drives me crazy.
It's quiet, almost enough to get out, but there's one.
Oh, somebody's like, "How do you believe anything that comes from Cash's FBI?" That's not the point. This didn't come from Cash's FBI. These are state charges. This was a murder that happened in Utah. That's the thing.
Vehicle lingering. Okay, so that lets us actually be able to drop that into the timeline pretty simply.
Yes, the word groceries. It's such an old word.
Why? Because we know, and we can pull up this timeline, that They at first thought it was George Zinn, so that's who he's referencing, some crazy old dude. And on the timeline, Skylar, if you want to pull that up so we can go through it, what time Charlie gets shot at 12:23 p.m. Scroll down a bit. George Zinn, we learn about 30 minutes after that, George Zinn, the decoy boy, that's when it's announced that he's a suspect in custody by the Utah police. But it's not until, by the way, 5:30 p.m., because he mentions that second suspect, and he curiously says in that correspondence that he's wearing similar clothing, which I find to be strange. We don't know what that second suspect is wearing until 5:30 p.m., when Governor Cox, 12 minutes into a press conference, the press conference began at 5:30 p.m., mentions that the second suspect, who is a person of interest, is wearing all dark clothing. So the earliest that message could have been sent out.
Right, and it could have been sent out right up to the time. It could have been done in the car ride to the fucking police station. Duh.
Is after 5:30 p.m. I think it's unlikely because I think, again, this is all made up, these messages, because he says wearing similar clothing. Okay, he tells us dark clothing. What's similar about that? This guy allegedly, when he did this, was wearing black jeans. I was wearing, dark jeans and a black shirt. So that's like everyone on campus, okay? Nobody in the press conference said.
No, he had a hoodie on when he jumped off the roof, and they were talking about that afterwards. This is so stupid.
We picked him up because he was wearing something.
By the way, this is how, this will be evidence to someone later. Somebody will take a fucking sentence of this and drag it out into, she said yesterday that he had a shotgun. We'll recall that. That's going to become, I guarantee there are dozens of motherfuckers that watch this show that think that the guy actually killed Charlie Kirk with a shotgun from 200 yards away.
Similar to the shooter. So that language right there is actually a mistake from the feds. But again, it allows us to be able to plot it into the timeline. So that's good. Okay. Timeline.
Again, a mistake from the feds, because he couldn't have said that because similar clothing means a black t-shirt and dark jeans.
Line is back up here. And we then know Kash Patel tweets that the subject in custody has been released. Our investigation continues. That was a mistake. The guy in the darker clothing, we don't know who that is. And then it's after, again, like I said, that these correspondences then had to take place. So we're talking.
Yes, anytime between then and the next day.
About late in the evening, okay, 6 hours on. I'm wondering what it is that Tyler Robinson is doing throughout this entire time. Skylar, you can keep this up because I want to keep scrolling, okay?
When he jumped off the rooftop, he was wearing a black hoodie, and he got rid of it later. Was the idea that he had a collared up, that's the whole dressed in all black shit. And then he changed clothes later. The clothes he came in, and the shirt or whatever, in his bag, he had a hoodie so that he would be completely in black. And while he did it, and then he got rid of some of it later. That's the theory. And again, none of this is fucking meaningful
doing throughout this entire time, because that's a very long time for him to be just around campus. But then luckily, he's going to let us know what he's doing, right? He's going to jump right in here, and he's telling us that he's close to the scene. We know in this conversation that he then says to Lance that he's looking to get that rifle, right? He says, "I'm wishing I had circled back and grabbed it as soon as I got to my vehicle. I'm worried what my old man would do if I didn't bring it back." Oh, I'm sorry. Let's actually go earlier. He then tells us his ally.
This is great when you're doing a timeline. Anyways, my point overall is that this points more towards an affliction that's going on in the right wing. That even when they're handed what they want on a silver platter, it won't matter. And this is a fight that is happening amongst them. I think most of us can agree that if Tyler Robinson at some point there's a preponderance evidence, there's an actual trial, and Tyler Robinson has an attorney, and they will go through the details of this. And in the evidence, if it's discovered such that that he committed this crime, he will be found guilty in a court of law like fucking Kohlberger was in Idaho. right? Or he confessed. He ultimately, I think, took a plea deal. It's less important about this event because, like I said, these assholes don't care about Officer Rose, who was killed in cold blood by a fucking right-winger who shot up the CDC, right? They're not picking that shit apart. 500 rounds? Who the fuck? How many? Okay, so there's 30 rounds per thing. They've got 500 rounds. How many times did they reload? Did they have 2 guns and another thing? And like, that's so impossible. In 147 rounds, what were they shooting in 3-round bursts? They're not cutting that shit up and breaking it down, okay? Do you see my point? They're fucking going through this with a fine-tooth comb, meanwhile ignoring the kind of Occam's rubber mallet of the other circumstance out of a choice. And it's a values choice. And under normal circumstances, they would use this, and they want to use this, as a bludgeon to attack people on the left. People, Democrats and fucking liberals and Antifa and whoever the fuck else. And they don't give a shit about Charlie Kirk's life. They don't give a shit about Charlie Kirk's family, or, they're maybe a little worried that Turning Points USA needs to continue so the funding can flow because it's a friend of the president's promo organization, right? They don't care about the actual lives lost or even the person in it. Except to the point where it satisfies a narrative. The problem they have is that their narrative choice is all over the fucking map. Some of them just wanted to be a trans person adjacent that killed him, and because he was mean to trans, and then trans people are crazy, and we're being too nice to people with mental illness, and we have to start treating this like, I don't know, whatever the fuck. They're trying to round up people, that they view as mentally ill. And or assume that trans people are violent or anything. That's what they want. There's a chunk of these fucking people that want to assume that. But the weird part is and normally that would be that, right? But there's a huge swath of right-wingers who are so busy infighting, and there's so much crisscross about Israel and Russia and Ukraine and Democrats and fucking QAnon and all this stuff, that they can't disassociate it. They can't break it down. Yes, it's stochastic craziness. Now it's forever. Yeah. It's not even stochastic terrorism because it's so blind and random. And I would argue that's one of the things that's more dangerous about it. You know what I mean? Like the most dangerous thing about it is that it's just anybody can be a target because they don't fucking they can't even narrowcast. Like people like HBCUs got fucking death threats when it was never even assumed that the shooter was black or had anything to do with like a graduate of a traditionally black college or something. You know what I mean? Like it's randomness, and it's being dislodged from any anchor in reality. And so there are like these little fucking satellite versions of truth and fiction that are driving these fuckers into the fucking reeds. So that's my kind of concern in this, that it, and I gotta say, it's not 100% that their targets will be entirely Democrats or left-leaning people or whatever. Right-wingers are just as in danger by these motherfuckers, because they're just randomly calling for violence and flailing and trying to attach victimhood and violence. They're trying to inject it into it. So that's the key in this situation, is that, like, on the one hand, normally I would say, oh shit, here it comes. The right wing's going to attack the left wing, and this is like another fucking, these January 6th guys are all getting wound up to go after, the DNC headquarters or some shit like that. But in reality, they're eating each other as much as they're attacking the left. And Candace Owens is an example of how these motherfuckers are convinced that Kash Patel and Donald Trump, because of Ivanka being married to a Jew and their relationship with Israel and all this kind of stuff, are convinced that's where this is all coming from. That Tyler Robinson very well may be an innocent victim in this, and either, a patsy or led astray by the sexiness of the transes by a Jewish conspiracy that owns the White House. For real. It's like, and the odd part is that everybody's, rightly so, I think on our side, worried about them carrying out violence against people on the left or people, who speak out on Democratic issues or Democratic politicians or fucking, me or Rachel Maddow or people like that who talk about this kind of stuff. But in reality, if you look at the conversation anywhere outside this kind of the pedestrian bullshit on Fox, what we're seeing is that they're more apt to attack each other. Yeah. So it's, let's see. Yeah. And, I'm seeing about the Kimmel thing and, I'm not gonna get wound up in stuff I can't control that are network choices. I've been through them myself. So don't give them any ideas. Well, that's the thing, Bingo. QAnon shaman and perfect. Okay. So, again, I'll show you here. Here's the 5. This is, we're getting near the end, but I'll show you this real quick. This is the 5 when they're talking about, I guess Jimmy Kimmel talking about Tyler Robinson, and allegedly this may have been what led to him going off the air, but we'll see.
Well, just moments ago, the suspected killer of Charlie Kirk formally charged with aggravated murder and 6 other counts. Now, unfortunately, some on the left continue to cheer the killing. FBI Director Kash Patel and Senator Cory Booker. It hasn't been about him, so he made it about himself, getting into a shouting match over the rise of the violent rhetoric. Watch.
That rant of false information does not bring this country together.
Oh, by the way, you notice how the 5 doesn't play what Cory Booker said?
If you want to work on bringing this country, it's my time, not yours.
My God.
If you want to talk about
dividing this country,
it is my
I follow
time.
you on your social media posts that
It is
tear
my
this country
time
apart.
to
There
address
should be a
your
unifying-
falsehoods.
Oh,
You are an
you can try
embarrassment
all
to
you
the division
want
in this
to
country.
not.
He's an embarrassment to the division in this country. Cory Booker, you are not as divisive as you're supposed to be. We are trying to divide this country, and you are fucking it up for everybody.
Take responsibility
my time.
for what you
had
have
your
said.
time.
Sir, you're
Your
making
time
a
is
mockery of this
over.
committee. Sir, you don't tell me my time is over.
You
The
know how
people
far
of New
we've
Jersey
come
tell me
since
what my
Utah?
time is. You can't lecture me.
You can tell me
Sir,
my time's over?
You may be the charge of the
I'm not
FBI,
going anywhere.
but I am not afraid of you, sir.
Chairman.
Not afraid of you.
Ooh, tough guy. And as numerous workers get fired for posting on.
Hold on one second, real quick. Kennedy. Let's see. Cory Booker. Building. Yeah. Yeah, pretty tough guy. Number one reason to live next door to Newark Mayor Cory Booker, he might just save your life one day. Booker saw flames and smoke pouring from the second floor of a small apartment building next to his home late Thursday night after he returned from an interview with a local news program. But seeing no residents outside, he rushed into the two-story building looking for residents with his 3-man security detail in tow. I just grabbed her and whipped her out of bed, rescued a resident amid a raging fire. My first instinct when I jumped through the kitchen was all in flames. I actually wasn't thinking. When I got there and couldn't find her and all the smoke, that's when I had very clear thoughts that I'm not going to get out of this place alive, Booker said. You know, it's just your come to Jesus moment. Yesterday, all my problems were really big to me. Today, things feel more clear. I have a lot more respect for firefighters. He also dismissed his branding as a superhero after rescuing the woman. I think that's way over the top. Honestly, there are firefighters that do this every day. I'm a neighbor that did what most neighbors would do, which is jump into an action to help a friend. Yeah. Yeah, Kennedy. Yeah, he's a tough guy. You know who's never done that? Kash fucking Patel. Mr. fucking dime store badge. Mr. fake badge, like, what is it, a brick agent.
to social media, disgusting celebrations of the murder of Charlie Kirk. Some folks in the media are now suddenly worried about cancel culture. Watch this.
Yeah, right-wingers.
Most of these people are not public figures. They were anonymous until a few days ago when this conservative campaign organized online targeting people that it says are attacking Kirk. Look, this is a new form of cancel culture.
This does seem to be turning into a very aggressive attempt to purge not just, government officials, specifically people who work in education, who work in healthcare, who work in government. So it's already getting a little bit out of hand.
Ooh, smell his beard from here. Nasty. And then
The fuck does that mean, lady? You can smell his beard from here? For real? What is that? Is that just a men with beards kind of a thing? I don't even know where that comes from. Unless she knows him personally. We'll just write it off.
this is a new low. Last night, Jimmy Kimmel implied the suspected killer of Charlie Kirk was MAGA.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
The guy who used to watch women bounce on trampolines, Greg, has turned into a laughable political pundit. What did you make of Jimmy Kimmel's comments?
Well, Greg would have loved to have that job. Do you think Greg wouldn't jumpstart the fucking Man Show?
He didn't imply it. He said it. I might have to watch Kimmel tonight to see what he has to say about this, because if he doesn't address what he did, he's done. I mean, this is a great case study, though, of cognitive dissonance. How can such a smart, successful man be so wrong? How can he live in this kind of denial? It's because he knows he's wrong. And if you strip that away, what's left? If you wrestle him away from
This is so weird. Like, I don't know where this... All right.
This delusion that he's stuck with for years.
Well, then if he knows he's wrong, then it's not a delusion. He's you mean he's a grifter? Grifters aren't deluded. He either believes it or he doesn't.
About Trump supporters, about Trump, about Republicans in general.
Oh, okay. You mean about Trump not being a rapist? You mean if he had that in reality he has Trump derangement syndrome, the kind that would make you so fucking nuts that you think Trump isn't a scumbag that mistreats women, and you would vote for him anyways because you get what you want out of him instead of just admitting it. It's just he's just grifting on the idea. Is that the theory?
What's left? What's underneath that? The realization that you are the bad guy in the movie. You're not a defender.
Sorry, Jimmy Kimmel is the villain
of democracy. You're a defender of destructive delusions. I mean, hate to tell you, buddy, but the guy who shot and killed Charlie Kirk was more likely a fan of yours than he was in
No. The shooter did not watch Kimmel.
In MAGA.
Like, again, any more than he fucking liked his MAGA parents. Again, that's the great thing about fucking anarchists and edgelord revolutionaries, is that they don't belong to either camp, dumb fuck.
I think the hardest part is getting people to acknowledge their role in this brainwash. But once you get past that denial, you're left with something that nobody wants.
First of all, he's reading these comments. And I would like to point out to Greg Gutfeld again, Greg, your episode of The Five is dedicated to Officer Rose, who was gunned down by a right-wing anti-vax lunatic in an attempt, by the way, to murder dozens of people and only successfully killing a police officer, and you didn't give a fuck. You didn't miss a step. You didn't miss a stride. You continued bullshitting yourself day in and day out. So don't give me any bullshit about Jimmy fucking Kimmel and the twisted opinions that people are gathering, trying to figure out what the fuck, if anything, Tyler Robinson actually believed when this guy, who was a police officer, was murdered by an anti-vaxxer that believes in RFK Jr., that believes in Donald Trump, and tried to kill dozens of other people at the same time. Not a targeted political killing of somebody rich and powerful that happened to help your guy get elected. Just anybody in that fucking building. and anybody at the CVS across the fucking street. Greg Gutfeld doesn't give a rat fuck about any crime that he can't use as ammunition or as a punchline. Period. God damn. This is so lazy. It makes sense that he's drinking like out of a turd mug in his like, and you wouldn't swap that out when allegedly your friend was killed while you're talking about this shit for the week, especially because it's not like the Gutfeld night show. This is in the after fucking noon anyways. So anyways, I'm going to let you guys go. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care of yourselves and take care of somebody else. And remember, one of the things you can do is when extraordinary things happen in the political arena or on social media or, on the news or something like that, it is completely okay for you to digest and contemplate the information before you react. No one is going, hey, did you show up and shit talk somebody really quickly? You got plenty of time. Use that time to consider best practices, decency, ethics, morals, and then do what I do. Swear like a fucking truck driver and tell anybody who disagrees with you to eat shit from the comfort of knowing that you thought it through. You're not reacting. You've done the homework. I think it's so funny. I recognize this lately, and that there's a glass ceiling on my show. I have definitely got on my show a limit to its reach. And it comes from two particular areas in the algorithm. One is I talk like an adult, and because we're talking about adult shit. So I swear because I mean what I say. And I'm not going to talk differently in this environment. If I'm, in a room with my grandmother, I don't talk about that the same way. And if I, or my kid or whatever, I can regulate that. But this is my show, my way. The other thing is, when I say that Donald Trump raped someone, I don't bleep out, blur, or get rid of the word rape because it's a word that has meaning and value. And I don't fuck around with this, like, tap dancing around the seriousness of these words. And so I recognize that. I know that. I know that my show will never get the reach of a Midas Touch or something like that because I fucking swear. But I mean what I say, I stand by what I say, and I care. And if you care too, I'll see you tomorrow or something. I'll see you at the next one. Meanwhile, I will say that I really enjoyed Trump's speech next to whatever that king person is in the United Kingdom. And I'm not gonna buy into some like conspiracy theory bullshit just because everybody feels the need to be right ahead of the truth. That has no value. Better to wait and be right than be wrong in a hurry.
The screen glows bright with a crooked smile.
Talking about you, Candace, dipshit.
Words spill out.
Hit that like, everybody. Thank you guys so much. Have a beautiful night. I'll see you tomorrow.
No style. Promises made, they rot in the air. A handshake, a lie, a blank, cold stare. Puppets dance, the strings are tight. Shadows whisper in the dead of night. This is some bullshit. thin truth.